what helped me with that, with those kind of situations, was I remember part later in the text of the Course in Miracles, where Jesus, it's the self versus self-concept section, where Jesus says the role of the accuser will appear in many forms, and it will seem to be accusing you, but have no fear, it will go at last. Just him saying that, have no fear, it will go at last, I needed to hear that. After the role, as the fingers start coming and the accusers start coming, and the deeper you go, all of a sudden you find you've got all these fingers pointing at you, you neglecting, you wasteful, and and then I just had faith in that, and I really now have come to really experience what that's about. It's that as we shift from that part thinking, personal thinking, to whole mind, literally everything in awareness merges together, and you don't interpret those pointing fingers in the same way. In fact, it's adorable. You know, it's such a call for love. Like I did one time, a friend invited me to come down to the Bible Belt, deep south to Louisiana, and I was going to cut through there, and he invited me to his church. He invited his church, his family, and everybody to come there to the Bible Belt. And I'm just always me. I just cut loose and let it rip. I don't care wherever I am, Communist China or Colombia or Bible Belt. So I went there, and I just let it rip through and everything. And in this somewhat traditional church at the time, where he was there very hungry to go deeper, but he invited all these people. Sometimes some of the faces started turning bright red, especially when I started talking about Jesus. I love talking about Jesus. I was down in the deep south talking about Jesus. Some of the faces started turning red, some veins started coming in their necks and everything. And from my enlightened perspective, I was like, oh, it's adorable. They just were so cute. Little red faces and the veins coming and everything. It was really sweet, because it's like, oh, they care so much about Jesus. I mean, and they're calling for the real experience of Jesus. From the enlightened perspective, that's all you can see. Okay. You let go of the attack thoughts, and then you cease to perceive that anyone or anything is attacking you. Because remember, what you perceive comes from what you believe. Free your mind. So all it is really going deeper, and then the role of the accuser, you don't have those concepts anymore. You just see it all working together for the good, and I mean, I just let it pour through, and some people started to connect, with the love, like we could join in the Christ experience, So it's good.
Get to that point, you don't mind anything anymore.
Yeah. You don't mind.
You don't mind.
You mind your mind, and then you don't mind.
You're aware of what your mind is, and then you don't mind.
Yes.
David, you were attacking their Christ. They owned that concept of Christ.
Well, I didn't even believe in attacks, so that was my piece. So, but I didn't even believe in a day. So that's the thing. You get into that place where you do feel the joy of it all, like, regardless. I mean, people were trying to warn me before I went there, oh, you'll get tarred and feathered or something down there. I said, nonsense. They're sweeties. Everybody's a sweetie. You don't have to buy into all this past programming and all this stuff.
Did some people leave and not want to stay?
Oh, that's happened over the years. But see, I'm not there to fill churches or fill the pews, or if someone walks out in the service, the Spirit's going to keep on shining and sharing. Jason's from Edmonton, Canada, so I went to Edmonton, Canada, and they invited me to a religious science church. Ernest Holm, religious science, seemingly pretty progressive. This is a Christian religious science church, and they're doing like a seminar, like a 7 or 10-day seminar on the Buddha in this church. So it seems to be kind of open-minded. So I go there, and I bring my friends along, like 4 friends. We go in there. They invite me to speak at the morning service, and they invite me to speak all afternoon to do an afternoon workshop. So I go there, I speak in the morning service, I go speak, let it rip in the afternoon service. Well, and even Carrie, who was traveling with me, got invited to go speak to the youth the youth service. Jason was the head of Jason Warwick was the head of the youth, so at that time he was there. So anyway, I went there. I just had a ball. I loved it. Got back to Cincinnati, and then some emails started to circulate because another course teacher, Robert Perry, was going to go to the same church, but they refused to let Robert go into the sanctuary and to do a workshop because of the controversial nature of the previous group. The church attendance dropped off by maybe 20-25% after I left. The church attendance started. I guess I was just talking about the kingdom of heaven is within. You don't need external people to guide you, priests and ministers. You know, the typical stuff that Jesus always talks about and everything. And I thought, well, that's, again, I'm not concerned about being popular.
Yeah.
I'm not concerned about packing people into pews, even New Age or New Thought pews. It doesn't matter to me. You know, it's being, uncompromising and joyful. That's, to me, what it's all about.